Good morning. Hope you're having a great start to this glorious day. I, of course, did by going to shul, having minyan, hearing Torah reading, and all the blessings that come with it, and the positivity it gives us to begin the day. So yesterday, Leviathan Energy announced the largest deal of export, $35 billion through 2040 of gas export to Egypt. And it got me thinking, you hear all these remarkable things, what Israel's doing with AI, what Israel's doing in medicine, in tech, in the markets, in financials. I mean, the stock market's at the highest, and yet the world is constantly so critical, always seeing the negativity, always spewing the hate. No matter what we do, they'll have something negative to say about it. And it made me think, because in this week's Torah portion, Moses reminds us how he pleaded with Almighty God to allow him to enter the promised land. And he tells us, he said, I told God, Ebrana, let me go and cross the Jordan. The Eda as the Aretz HaTayva, and let me see the land. And the Holy Kotzker Rebbe says like this. He says, Moses says, let me cross the Jordan. Of course I'll see the land. Why does Moses have to say, Ebrana, let me cross it? The Eda as the Aretz HaTayva says, let me see the land. Obviously, if he's crossing it, he's seeing the land. And the Kotzker Rebbe says, no. Moses' prayer to God was twofold. Let me go into the land, but also let me see its blessings. Let me see its beauty. Let me see its glamour, its grandeur, its awesomeness, its holiness, its godliness. Sometimes you could go into the promised land, but all you see is negativity. What more do we need than to go back to the spies? Moses sends 12 spies, including Joshua and Caleb. And what did the other spies say? Oh, we had these big, humongous fruit. They said they were burying their dead. The rabbi says God made them bury the dead. They shouldn't see the spies. But the spies only saw the negative. So the Kotzker Rebbe says, when Moses pleaded with Almighty God that he wants to go into the Holy Land, he didn't just plead that he should go into the land. He pleaded to be able to see its blessings, its positivity. How do we say every morning our prayers from Tehillim? Mi shachavetz chayim. Who's the person who chooses life? Oyev yamim, who loves the days. Lirois toiv, when he sees positive, when he sees good. And that's the prayer that Moses gave to God, pleading with Almighty God, not just to be able to go into the land of Israel, but to see the promised land, to appreciate it, to embrace it. You look around the world, you look at social media, you scroll through Instagram, X, and TikTok, and Facebook, and you're shocked. You see friends of yours that are Jewish, that grew up in a Jewish home, speaking badly about Israel, taking the side of our enemies who want to annihilate us. It's not like they just want to break the siege on Gaza, they want to annihilate the Jewish people. And yet, these Jews, these foolish people, these naive people who are sometimes much worse than naive, buy the stories of our enemies and take their sides. And that's why Moses pleaded with Almighty God. It's not enough that I should go into the promised land, but let me see it in its positive glory, in all the godliness, in all its might, fighting 7 war front at once, winning victory after victory, supplying aid to our enemies, treating them in our hospitals. That's what we want to see, the positivity, the deals that they make, the medicine that they revolutionize, the technology that they start, that they create, that they innovate. That's what we want to see. Yesterday, this lovely Filipino man, Jimmy Pacheco, and his wife had their 4th child in Israel. They're Filipinos that live in Israel. What's his story? His story is that for 4 years he was the caretaker of a man, Ami Ben Tzvi, in Kibbutz Nir Oz. Ami Ben Tzvi was 80 years old. He lived in Kibbutz Nir Oz, and his caretaker was this lovely Filipino man, Jimmy Pacheco. And On October 7th, when the terrorists came into Kibbutz Nir Oz, it was very hard for Amitai Ben Tzvi to get up. So he turned to Jimmy, and he looked at him and he said, do me a favor. If you survive this, tell my family that I love them. Tell them that I care for them, that I embrace them. Unfortunately, Amitai Ben Tzvi was killed in his home by the terrorists on October 7th. Jimmy was taken hostage for 45 days to Gaza. And he said he wanted to survive so badly. And he was so hungry, he would ration off his food, eating a drop at a time just to keep his stomach not empty. He said sometimes they gave him toilet paper, and he wouldn't use, he gave him a little piece of toilet paper, he wouldn't use it, and he would take it and he would wipe it on the wall to get moist, and he would eat it just that his stomach shouldn't be empty. He wanted to survive so badly. When he was let out in November, he came to his family, but also to his new-led family, to Amitai Ben Tzvi's family and all their family that became like his family. And he told them how much Amitai loved them and how he pleaded with them that if he dies and he doesn't make it out, he should tell the family how much he loved him. Well, this week he had his fourth girl. And you know what he named his daughter? Yisraela, for the country that adopted him, for the families that took care of him, for the glorious, glamorous, beautiful country of Israel. That's called not just Ebrna, not just coming into the land, but the Ere Es Haaretz HaToivah, to see the land. Not to be, as we call in Israel, in Hebrew, Kafui Toiv, someone who's doesn't have gratitude for all that's been done for them. Sometimes you see these Jews, you see these people who are fighting their own people, and you wonder if they could use a dose of what Jimmy Picacho did. God bless you and have a great